So start standing, allow those feet to be hip distance apart, taking a moment to root down through the soles of the feet. You can even take a moment and find that center point between four directions. So gently shifting the weight forward into the toes, maybe the heels lift a little bit, and then coming back through center, going into the heels, the toes might lift slightly. Coming back to center, let's take the weight over to the right slightly. Coming back to center, moving over towards the left, and back to center, and finding that point between these four directions. And just bring the hands to the belly as the eyes come closed, as you just take a couple breaths here, centering and grounding. Feeling that gentle rise and fall of the belly against the palms. On your next inhale, letting the eyes flutter open, the eyes come back out, the arms come back by the sides of the body. And now gently dropping the chin towards the chest. Take a breath here as the back of the neck starts to feel some stretch. Softening through those shoulders on the exhale. And then staying connected to your breath on your inhale, drawing that chin up towards the right shoulder. On the exhale, bringing the head back down to center. Inhaling up to the opposite shoulder. Exhaling back down. Do this a few more times to either shoulder. Noticing if there's anywhere on the semicircle that could use some extra love and attention. You might want to pause there, take a breath or two. Allow those muscles to soften and relax before continuing to move the chin from shoulder to shoulder. Do one more to either shoulder. And when the chin comes back down to the center of the chest, take another breath here, exhaling to soften those shoulders. And on the next inhale, bringing the head back in line with the spine. Let's take a draw of those shoulders up towards the ears and then forwards and down. So starting to stretch between the shoulder blades as well here. Already warmed up from those gentle neck stretches. You can choose to just keep doing these shoulder rolls, or maybe you take the hands to the shoulders and start to draw some circles with the elbows on either side wall. And you can choose to do this or just the shoulder rolls, or depending on the space you have around you, maybe you start to extend those arms, doing a few large arm circles here, waking up the shoulder joints. Next time those fingers are pointing towards the toes, let's reverse the direction, starting with these large arm circles if that feels comfortable, going the opposite way. Stay nice and rooted through those soles of the feet, even though we're focusing through the upper body. And gently bringing those hands to the shoulders, do a few elbow circles in this direction. And releasing the arms, just doing a few shoulder rolls. Bringing those shoulders up, back, and down, broadening across the front of the chest. The next time that you bring those shoulders back and down, let the fingers point towards the toes, palms facing forwards. Once again, let the eyes come close. Just noticing how things are feeling to the neck, the shoulders, the front of the chest. And things already feeling a little bit more open. Maybe there's some temperature or sensation that you're noticing. Taking one more full breath here. And with your next inhale, letting the eyes flutter open again. Coming to the top of the mat, keep those feet rounded, feet hip distance apart here. On the inhale, reach the arms out, up, and interlock the thumbs. So make little butterfly hands here. If you've ever done shadow puppets, reaching up through the fingertips, lengthening through the side body, stay grounded through the feet. And you can choose to just stay here or engage the lower abdomen and come into a gentle back bend. On the exhale, return those hands back to heart center. Let's do that once more. Inhale, reach the arms out, up. Optional gentle back bend. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now we're going to do the exact same thing and then come into our forward fold. So inhale, arms out, up. Optional back bend. And then hinge from the hips as you fold forward. Bending the knees so fingertips can come to blocks of the mat. Step that left leg back. Make sure you have a firm foundation. Adjust the distance between the feet. And on the next inhale, rising up, taking those hands to the hips so that as you exhale, you're remembering to settle into your foundation. Front knee over front ankle, that back heel is lifted but pressing towards the floor. On your next inhale, reach both arms up. As you exhale, soften those shoulders towards the floor. Another full breath here. Now taking that right hand to the right hip, inhale, lengthen up through the left arm and fingers, and nice engagement of the core, steady lower body, gently begin to lean towards the right. Take a full breath here, breathing into the left side body under the cage. On your next inhale, come back to center, reach both arms up, exhale, bring the front foot, take the front foot to the back, downward dog. Take a deep breath in and out here. Feel free to pedal through the feet, stretching out the back of the legs. Coming back to stillness. On your next inhale, shift the weight forward to plank. Drop knees, chest, and forehead. Coming onto the belly as you untuck those toes. Now with the legs stretching back behind you, draw those elbows in towards the side body, hands underneath the shoulders. Crown of the head pressing forward, but let's engage the upper back muscles here before we come into our baby cobra back bend. So draw those shoulders up, back, and down, just as we did standing. And on the next inhale, use that engagement to peel the chest and forehead off the mat. Coming into baby cobra here, gaze stays at the mat, head in line with the spine. On your next exhale, lower the chest and forehead back down. Let's do that 3 more times with the breath. Inhaling up. Exhaling to lower. 2 more at your own breath pace. After your second exhale, you come back to the mat. From here, extending those arms by either side of the body. Palms can be facing up, the backs of the hands against the mat, or the reverse, whatever feels more comfortable for your arms and shoulders. Just making sure that those shoulders stay away from the ears. Keep that forehead to the mat. Keep pointing through those toes towards the back of the room. And while we strengthen the upper back in our baby cobra, we're going to do our lower back in our half locust. So on the next inhale, point through those right toes. Begin to lift that right leg nice and long behind you, up off the mat. Now keep that right hip to the mat. So you're just lifting through the leg here. Let's take 3 deep breaths. Using the muscles of the leg, the glute, strengthening the lower back. Keep those shoulders away from the ears. Take another inhale. And on that exhale, nice and slowly return the right leg back to the mat. Same thing on the other side. On your next inhale, point through those left toes, extend the left leg, begin to lift it up behind you. 3 deep breaths here. Take another inhale. And on the exhale, nice and slowly, give yourself a little resistance. Gently lower that leg all the way back to the mat. Return those hands back underneath the shoulders, pressing up, and then all the way back into child's pose. So keep those thighs parallel, knees closer together as the hips sink towards the heels, forehead to the mat. If the mat's feeling a little far away, you can always stack those twists or bring the forehead on top of a block or block alternative. Taking 3 deep breaths here, breathing into the back body, that lower back, helping to expand it from our back bending postures, helping to release it. With the belly a little constricted by the thighs here in child's pose, we have that option to be aware of the breath through the back body a bit more. On your next inhale, allowing yourself to come into your tabletop. If you like to come to your lunge from here, you're going to do that now, shifting the weight to the right, stepping that left foot forward, or join me in journeying up and back to downward dog, and then taking that left foot in between the hands in a way that makes sense for your body. Again, adjust the distance between those feet so that you feel steady. And on your next inhale, allowing yourself to come upright. On the exhale, settling into your high lunge on this side. With your next inhale, let those arms reach up overhead. Exhale, softening into your lower body, softening those shoulders in that same direction. Another full breath here. From here, dropping that left hand to the left hip. Inhale, lengthen up through the right arm and fingers. And again, engagement of the core. Everything stays the same through the lower body until gently lean towards the left side wall. Keep that front knee over the front ankle. Nothing moves to the lower body here. Another full breath. And with your next inhale, come back to center. Reach both arms up. On the exhale, bring the front foot. Slide that front foot to the back, downward dog. Take a couple breaths here. Pedal through the feet. Then one knee and then the other. On your next inhale, shift the weight forward to plank and allow this to be a high plank. Now, of course, you can always drop those knees to come into your low plank. Just make sure either variation, those shoulders are over the wrists, spreading through those fingers. Nice engagement of the core. Feel that line if you're in low plank from the crown of the head to those knees. If you're in high plank, from the crown of the head down the body to those heels, pressing those heels back behind you. Wherever you are, we're going to wake up and fire up the core. On your next inhale, draw that right knee to right elbow and extend it back. Right knee to left elbow and extend it back. Left knee to left elbow and extend it back. Left knee to right elbow and extend it back. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, drop knees, chest, and forehead. Come once again onto the belly. From here, we're going to take our arms out from our shoulders, so making the T with our upper body. Those toes are untucked again, pressing back behind you. Take that left hand underneath the left shoulder. Keep that right arm extending out from the shoulder as a half T, and start to tuck those left toes. Begin to roll onto the right side body here. Now you might stay supporting yourself with that left hand, or you might begin to roll all the way onto the right side body. And if that's the case, maybe that left foot comes on the outside of that right extended leg. Again, that hand might still be, that left hand might still be supporting you. Just in how much of a stretch you want to feel through that right shoulder and upper chest. As you take a couple breaths here, make sure you're softening and relaxing through the back body, especially those glutes and the thighs. 2 more deep breaths here. On your next exhale, gently allowing yourself to rotate back onto your belly, extending that left arm out. Just taking a breath here, noticing from side to side what you notice. And then taking that right hand underneath the right shoulder, tucking those right toes that kind of allow us to propel ourselves onto the left side body here. Start to rotate onto the side body. Again, you might be supporting yourself quite a bit with that right hand. Maybe you're rolling all the way onto the left edge of the side of the body. If that's the case and it's comfortable, maybe that right foot comes as a little kickstand behind the extended left leg. Allowing yourself to soften into whatever shape you find yourself, especially relaxing through the back and the glutes, the thighs. 2 more deep breaths here. On your next exhale, slowly rotating yourself back onto the belly. Take those hands underneath the forehead, make a little pillow, place the forehead back down, and just take a few breaths here, completely relaxing from the crown of the head, through the arms, the shoulders, the torso, the glutes and hips, all the way down the legs, including the ankles and feet. Taking a few breaths here. Gently taking those hands back underneath the shoulders, resting yourself up and back, and then coming into, once again, your child's pose. Taking 3 deep breaths here. Gently walking those hands towards the right side of the room, just taking a breath here, letting that left hip be heavy, drawing back and face behind you. Allow those hands to walk back through center over towards the left as you take a couple more breaths here. Walking those hands back to center. Take 1 more breath here, realigning the spine. And then walk those hands underneath the shoulders, vertebra by vertebra, lifting yourself up to seated. Maybe the head stays in towards the chest for a moment, giving another gentle stretch to the back of the neck. And then on your next inhale, bring the head all the way back in line with the spine. Let's shift the weight to one side, swing those legs out in front. And let's end our practice with a nice seated spinal twist, giving that fresh supply of blood and oxygen to the disc of the spine. So start by extending that left leg long. That right foot might come on up towards the seat bone on the inside of the extended leg. Or if you feel like you want to try what it's like to cross the leg, bringing that right foot on the outside of the extended left leg. Right fingertips, wherever you are, come behind you anyway to allow yourself to prop up, sit nice and tall on those seat bones. And either just give yourself a hug around that right knee, or if that leg is crossed, you can even see what it's like to take that left elbow on the outside of that right knee, fingertips pointing up, or maybe journeying towards that right hip even. Let's take an inhale to lengthen here. And then beginning in the core as if you're a slinky, wrapping yourself around a pole or a tree trunk. Begin to twist towards the right. You might look over the right shoulder if that's comfortable. Otherwise, just come into the amount of twist that feels good for your body. Take 2 deep breaths here. And with your next inhale, leading with the head, slowly coming back to center. Gently unwinding everything. Shake out those legs for a moment. And then again, on the other side, maybe that left foot just stays on the inside of the extended right leg. Maybe it's crossing over. Take those left fingertips back behind you. Sit nice and tall on those seat bones. Either just give yourself a hug around that left knee, or take that right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Fingertips up or pointing towards the hip. Take an inhale to lengthen. And on the exhale, beginning in the core, letting this twist radiate up the torso. Maybe looking over the left shoulder. 3 deep breaths on this side. Let those Exhale, soften and relax the shoulders, softening into the amount of twist you find yourself doing. With your next inhale, slowly unwinding back to center. Once more, shake those legs out. And then allowing yourself to end your practice just with a short, upright return to the breath. So maybe you want to sit on something that can be nice just for the hip flexors. Just allowing yourself to come into a comfortable seated position, whether that's cross-legged, legs stretched out in front of you, or just ankle in front of, or heel in front of ankle. Just letting the eyes slowly come closed. Once more, bringing the hands to the belly, and either keeping both hands here or taking one hand up to the chest, keeping one hand on the belly. With the eyes closed, just letting the awareness settle at the opening of the nostrils. And then just following the breath as it flows into the body, noticing what moves and expands on the inhale. As you follow the breath out of the body, out of the nostrils, noticing what relaxes, gently contracts on the exhale. And as you reconnect with the breath here, just reminding yourself you can always come back to this natural rhythm of the body when you're at your desk, when you're walking, when you're preparing food. Always just taking that awareness, that intention to the breath, something or a part of the body that's both controlled unconsciously and consciously. So just taking a few times throughout the day to bring conscious control to the breath, to deepen that breath, bring more oxygen into the body. And by opening up the front of the body, the front of the chest, we also help open up our breathing capacities to allow us to take in more oxygen. Taking one more deep breath here. Nice, slow, steady exhale. And with your next inhale, letting the eyes gently flutter open, bringing the hands to heart center. Namaste.